Hello, Facebook. How are you?
Hello, Facebook. How are you? Hi, this is Sourena Vasseghi. Sourena is the speaker who can't speak and the writer who can't write.
Today we're going to talk about your emotions and how to relate to you.
Right, so, I'm sorry, Sourena.
Today we're going to talk about your emotions and how to relate to you.
So today, Sorena's going to talk to you about your emotions and how those emotions relate to your success.
Welcome to me. Can you a little more about who we are and we can think?
Right, but before we do that, I'm going to tell you a little more about who we are and what you can expect. So Sourena is the writer who can't write and the speaker who can't speak. He has literally created a career out of things that, well, he just can't really do so well by himself. And because of that, he was pushed to achieve, and he's achieved. And now he has a goal. And his goal is to motivate you. It's to inspire you. It is to empower you to achieve your goals. That is what Sourena would like to do. That's what he wants to do. That is what he is driven to do. Me, well, my name's Jamila Doolin, and well, I just kind of helped Sourena along on his journey. Let's get started. Oh, Simon, hey, how are you? Thanks for joining, Simon. It's so good to see you. We just love comments, we love likes, we love shares. Today, it's all about the emotions of success. That's what we're talking about, because, you know, success can be emotional. We're going to dive right into that in just a second. So, hi, hopefully you're doing well. Just, if you're having a good day, just let us know with a thumbs up.
The more successful.
Yeah, here's the thing. The bigger your dream, the more likely it is, or the more the chance is that something is going to go wrong.
And it's more your body to achieve goals. And if you like that, it's more your body to achieve whatever you want.
Right. Hey, Julie, how are you? Thanks for joining. We like likes, we like shares, we like loves. We like you. We are just happy you joined us. If you're having a good day, just give us a thumbs up. Join in the discussion. It's all about the emotions of success today. So here we go. The bigger the dream, the more likely it is, or the bigger the chance is that something is not going to go the way you want it to. Yeah, this makes for an emotional process.
If it's not emotional body, you want get very amazing.
Right. So, say that again for me, please, Sourena.
If it's not emotional body, then you will enjoy the fruit of labor.
Right. So, if you don't get through that emotional process, then you probably won't enjoy the fruits of your labor. Again, Amy, hey, how you doing? Hopefully all is well for you. We love hearing from you. Today it's about the emotions of success. Send us some comments, some loves. If you're having a great day, give us a thumbs up. We want to know that all is well with you.
But you only what you do.
Right. You don't want your emotions to dictate what you do. Right. I mean, what Sorena's saying is, look, it's true, your emotions are going to affect what you do, but there's a way for that to happen. A good way, and a right way, and a way that could use a little improvement.
Yeah. Well, if you don't know how to manage your emotions, then you will be productive.
Right, here's the thing. If managing your emotions is something that's challenging for you, something that you really need to improve upon. You've got to understand that if you don't learn to manage your emotions, well, you may not be as productive.
Managing your work, so that means you're spreading or another deal emotional.
So that doesn't mean that you have no personality. It doesn't mean that you can't show any emotion. It just means that you kind of have to manage these things.
And if you understand what they are, the personality is, then you get a lot more likely to achieve whatever you want.
Right, and if you can manage your emotions, if you know what they are, if you're in tune with what your emotions are, and you learn how to manage them, then you can be more productive.
However, you see that you wasn't getting action, then you won't be as productive.
Right. However, if you let your emotions dictate to you what you are going to do, if your emotions are telling you how you will act, how you will behave, then you will not be productive. You'll be kind of like a rudderless boat, just going around with no direction.
Yes.
Subject to the weather.
Sure, I'm going to talk about for a month. You want.
Right. So we're going to talk about some obvious emotions that will impact or affect how you achieve what you achieve, and we're going to go through those in just a few minutes. And Alright, so it's not every emotion. We couldn't list every emotion. As you know, there's like gazillions of emotions. But these are the genuine
buckets.
These are the top ones?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So let's go to him.
Okay, so I know when we were going over this, Sourena, we talked about excitement.
Movie. So I like it. Excited.
Right, you want to stay motivated for your goals. It really helps if you're excited.
You're constantly excited. Constantly excited.
Yeah, it makes such a difference if your goals are exciting to you. Hey Dave, how are you? How's it going? So good to see you. Sit back, listen, learn, enjoy, comment.
I believe visualization.
You believe in visualization?
Yeah.
All right, so one way that Sourena believes helps to stay excited is visualization. What do you mean? Explain visualization to us, please, Sourena. All right, so Sourena says, look, you have a big dream. You have a dream. You have a goal that you want to achieve. Well, why not visualize? See in your mind's eye what your life will be like if you accomplish that dream, if that vision comes true.
Everything you can. Everything you can.
Right, so I said, look, don't hold back. Visualize everything you can. So from the smallest, let's say your dream is to have a house.
Yeah.
All right, so what do we want to visualize here, Sourena?
How you going to decorate it? How you going to decorate it?
Right, so if your dream is to have this house, you're going to visualize how you decorate.
What did the kitchen look like?
You're going to visualize the kitchen. Are you going to visualize eating in the kitchen? Yeah, you're going to envision having a meal in that kitchen.
Or having friends over.
Right, you're going to envision having friends over. You're going to envision maybe even watching it being built if it's a new house.
Driving home after a day.
Right, you'll envision driving home after a long day. You just want to see, you want to be able to have a vision of this dream, of this house being true, being real.
Yeah. And you're really excited about things that you just don't want to do.
Right, and you have to be excited about things that you just don't want to do. Hey Sharon, thanks for joining.
Let me give you a couple. Let's say that you don't want to call customer service.
Right, so along the way to getting this house, there's going to be things you don't want to do. And you even have to envision yourself doing those things too, right, Sourena?
Yeah, you're really excited about not the process, but getting done.
Right. So you have to get excited about the things you don't want to do, as well as being excited about the vision of the house that you've tried to achieve, that you're trying to achieve. Or yeah.
Okay, I only got that.
All right, so Sourena wants to stop talking about the house.
We all have stuff. Yeah, all stuff that we don't want to do.
Right. Look, here's the thing. We all have things that we just don't want to do. That's how it is.
We have the time, except to do things.
I'm sorry?
We have the time, except to do things.
But we have to make time, is that what you said?
Time.
But we have to tie the idea of excitement, the emotion of excitement, to those things that we don't want to do.
That's it. You just don't want to do.
Let's say you have something that you just don't want to do. I'd say calling customer service.
Yes, I get to go to
Right. It's a rare person that says, woo! I get to call customer service and be on hold today. Can't wait. Right. But the truth is, if you don't call customer service, then you're going to be behind on things that you want to do.
Hanging out the phone.
Right. So before you do it, you might want to visualize. Is that what you're saying, Sourena?
Yeah.
You're going to want to visualize getting on that phone, handling the issue, hanging up the phone, and being able to check or cross that right on off your to-do list.
I know that he's like, not everything you say has to speak out. You can make 2 second example.
Exactly. So not everything that you do is going to be like a day at Disneyland. It's not just going to be just this overwhelming sense of excitement. That may not be the case, and that's fine, because sometimes you only get like 2 seconds of excitement, and you take those 2 seconds and you run with it.
There's nothing I don't want to do, but I try to do it. I go, okay, it's done. Yeah.
Right. There's things that Sourena likes to do or has to do or just does, and the excitement doesn't last forever. It's just something short. And he goes, okay, well, that was good. I'm done now. And now you're energized to move on to the next thing.
I another thing is the task might not exceed but that sounds like what exceed you.
The task
Might not exceed you.
may not excite you.
What the satisfaction should excite you.
But the satisfaction of accomplishing that task, of getting that task done, should excite you.
Yeah, every Friday before Jesus, I can't do it, I go, yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
Every week, every Friday before I leave for the weekend, Sourena says, we had a great week this week.
I love that. I got fun, the boys, the kids, but I'm excited about the outcome.
Right. A lot of times it's, we've done things that he wasn't excited about doing, but always excited about the accomplishment and the outcome.
We're over the phone over to me. We should always communicate with you.
Say that for me
We
again.
always do research. We always do research.
We always do research.
We always with you a lot.
Yeah, we email the team a lot.
We had a phone call.
We had a lot of phone calls.
They're not that. Everything that is not exciting.
And not all of this is always the most exciting stuff to do. Let's just tell the truth.
We had a good week. That's enough. That's enough to keep more.
Right, but getting all of it done, that sense of accomplishment, that's exciting. And that's what propels Sourena to get the next thing done. So I have a question for you. What is it, and just respond in the comments, what is it that you don't want to do? What are the tasks you don't want to do? And if you can, think about how you will feel when you get that task done.
If you have a family that you can join, because that is right now.
If you have a family, you can enjoy them because
You will have to do it. You can work hard, and you can do your job.
you can enjoy them because you have that peace of knowing that you've worked hard, you've accomplished your task, and now you can enjoy them with peace without having the worry of something else to do on the to-do list hanging over your head. If I were to throw something out in the comments about a task that I don't want to do, for me right now, that would be finishing the schedule of summer activities for our children. Not looking forward to doing that task. Yeah. But I also know that once I do, it'll be done and we can move on to the next thing, and that will be exciting.
But we did that. You can have a good time.
That's right. I also know that when I finish doing this, my kids will have a good summer. They'll accomplish their goals for the summer, and that's exciting. So what is it? And again, respond in the comments that you don't want to do. What's your thing?
Yeah.
So Sourena,
What more do you like?
okay, something else about excitement.
Yeah. Achieve success.
I'm sorry?
In order to do that,
In order to achieve success,
you can't be achieving excitement.
you cannot
Overstate excitement.
overstate excitement.
Overstate excitement.
Overtaste.
Taste.
Overchase.
Yeah.
So you can't just keep going around chasing the next exciting thing.
You gotta go to other ways. Yeah, feel the other emotions.
You have to focus, you said?
Feel the other emotions.
You have to feel the other emotions?
Yeah. But you tie yourself to to everything that you do.
You tie yourself to everything that you do?
Excitement.
You tie excitement to everything that you do. So it's going to be threaded throughout your process.
Yeah. The one way you always stay motivated.
And one way to always stay motivated
is to tie excitement to whatever you do.
Is to tie excitement to whatever it is you are going to do.
Now, I'm working if we amazing, you have to deal with the other which is fun.
Right, so excitement is the fun. Yeah, it's the fun emotion. Unfortunately, true to life, not everything's going to be as exciting as excitement. Not everything's going to be as fun as excitement. So try to tie the excitement to everything else, because here come the other emotions. The next one being fear. There's many types of fear. Yeah, there's fear of failure, fear of success, fear of not being good enough, fear of not being accepted, fear of the unknown. Yeah, fear is just one of those things that you can see it in so many situations. Hi, Aaron. How are you? Thanks for joining.
We don't do something because
Right. How often is it that we don't do something because we are scared?
You have to understand that fear. You have to understand that fear. Do it.
Right. In order to be amazing, you have to understand that the fear is there. You have to understand what you are afraid of. And then you have to push it aside and move on and do what you need to do anyway.
But if you do those things, at least a little bit more than you're not doing.
All right, so this is what Sourena just said. By the way, if your dreams don't scare you at least a little bit, then you need to dream bigger.
I know if I want to be
Right, so Sourena said, hey, look, when I was younger, I said to myself, I want to have kids. And then I said, well, is that fair to the children that aren't here yet? Will it be fair to my wife? And that fear could have stopped me.
And we can be scared anything. We can be scared, not be excited. Not be excited.
Right, we can be afraid of so many things. And the thing is, fear can be paralyzing. It can stop you from doing the things you want to do.
Again, yeah, go back to excitement.
Go back to excitement?
Yeah, if I deal with fears in a better way, I get that. Oh my gosh.
If you deal with fear,
then I'm more excited. Oh my gosh.
Right, so Sourena said, look, if you can deal with the fear, then you'll be more excited about your goals, which will keep you motivated.
Yeah. Everything already excited.
Yeah, everything goes back to excitement.
Yeah.
Can I say something about fear for a second?
Yeah.
So one of the things about fear is that it can manifest itself as other things. It can just kind of masquerade as fear, masquerade as something else, but it really be fear. For example, if you find that you're procrastinating, it may not be that you really just don't want to do the task or you don't have time. It might be that you are afraid of doing the task. You might be afraid of the actual process. You might be afraid of the outcome. But so often, procrastination and fear are related to one another. I'm sorry?
Fear and doubt.
Right. Once you start working towards your dreams, fear and doubt will be there. And they just show up. Another one, analysis to paralysis.
Yeah. Can you
Pardon?
Can you
You want me to give an example or do you have it?
I have it.
Okay, Sourena has an example.
So, most of the time, marketing, most of the marketing,
Right, so much of being a speaker has to do with marketing.
ideas.
All right, so yeah, the speaker has to market. He or she has to market themselves.
There time if I can be a speaker,
Right, so there's been times when Sourena said to himself, oh my goodness, if I get busy as a speaker, will my body be able to handle the travel?
Will it be able to be staff to support me?
Will I be able to get staff to support me?
And that
And those emotions, well, they're real.
I found that there was a time where I didn't try. I didn't give up for that because there's a lot in the regular life.
And there's times when you didn't put forth a full effort because in the back of Sourena's mind, those emotions, that fear, was just hanging out there.
I never, it's scared. That fear, and as such, I really determined my action.
Right, and so that fear and those thoughts, well, those things determined Sourena's action, or shall we say inaction?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the self-sabotage, that was self-sabotage.
Right, and that's where the self-sabotage will come in. And it's not even one of those things that's completely noticeable. It's something so subtle that you may not even know you're doing it. But what it does is, what it really is fear. And it's creeping in and it's blocking you from doing that which you want to do. And it happens to all of us. Everybody has a little bit. And it's okay, but you just have to know what it is, identify it, and deal with it.
Yeah, so I'm running into a couple weeks. I'll take a minute to take over that team. Over the please. So I'm not, they're not fear, get me up.
Right. So one way Sourena has dealt with some of the fear is letting me take over the part that scares him, and then I'm sorry.
Focusing on mundane things.
Yeah, and then Sourena can focus on things that excite him more than whatever it is that's causing him. Another worry? Another way? All right, let's assume people are dating.
Getting so close. Getting close.
And they're getting closer.
And picks a fight.
And then sometimes you'll see a person who picks a fight.
The fear of getting too close or too intimate.
Right. And the real issue isn't the little fight that happened. The real issue is that person might be afraid of becoming too close, being too intimate, or even what steps may come after, what steps they might be leading, what the relationship might be leading to. That's what fear can do. It can stop you from moving forward. So again, for you, ask yourself, what am I afraid of? What is it that I'm procrastinating? What am I overanalyzing? What is it that I'm just not doing? And why is it that I'm not doing it? Am I afraid? And if you are, deal with it. Identify it, recognize it, deal with it, move forward. Are we ready to move on to the next one?
Yeah, let's combine it.
All right, so next we have frustration and disappointment.
I am master of frustration.
Right, Sourena said he's the master of frustration.
Being disabled, so it's frustrating. It's frustrating.
So being disabled, it sucks and it's frustrating.
There's things that give me more time, more effort than other people.
Things that other people can do easily take Sourena much more time and much more effort.
And then 90% of that, I can run it, but there's the 10% that to shut. This is a version, it's not better.
Right, so 90% of the time Sourena can deal with it, not an issue. But then there's the 10% of the time. And during that time, it's, oh man, this is awful, this sucks, I hate it.
Frustrated stuff unmet expectations.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Frustrating and disappointment. Some unmet expectations.
The reason we combined frustration and disappointment is because they come from the same root. And that root is unmet expectations.
Whether expectations are realistic or unrealistic.
Right, it doesn't really matter if that expectation is realistic or unrealistic, it's unmet. And that leads to either the frustration or the disappointment.
Yeah. So the thing that you because
Right, for example, imagine you have a client or a customer.
You're amazing.
Right, so let's assume that you've put together an amazing presentation, you've presented it, and
it's going well.
Everything's going well.
And then the guy, not right now.
And at the end of everything, the client's response is, not right now.
And then, it can't just give me a
Right, it could be that you have another client who...
No. Then the girl you find out the girl because you found out a version.
Right, and then it could be that you find out later that, he didn't go with you, he was with somebody else. So maybe somebody that he just met at a barbecue with no real presentation, and you put forth all this effort and it wasn't rewarded, and this other person put forth very little effort and it was rewarded. Hey Zaki, how are you? Right, so out of that, you're going to have some disappointment. If that's an actual scenario, there's going to be some disappointment. There's going to be some frustration. That's how it is. Right, and the thing is, how is that going to dictate your actions? What are you going to do at that point? When you have that feeling of disappointment, when you have that feeling of frustration, what are you going to do?
About people who are amazing successes.
Right, so as we told you earlier, we do research for these. And one of the things we researched was people who have had amazing success.
And if what I'm dealt with this a failure.
Right, and some of these people have dealt with some serious disappointment and maybe even some serious failure. Right, so there's Oprah Winfrey. And as you guys, everybody knows who Oprah is. We love Oprah. But it wasn't always so pretty. And her childhood was difficult. She had a teenage pregnancy. And then when she finally does escape that and she gets into media, what happens, Sourena? Right, she was demoted from her position as a news anchor and told that she was too emotional for television.
She drove with
Right, so rather than curl up in a ball and suck her thumb, Oprah found a way to creatively turn that emotion, right?
Yes.
Yeah, into something successful. And look at her now. She has her own production company, her own TV network, completely different. All because she took what was viewed as a negative, and she took that frustration, disappointment, and found a way to channel it, repackage it, and make it work for her.
Yeah, she knows.
Same job, same.
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs. Here we got. He was kicked out of Apple. The company that he created. He was kicked out.
He
opened up next.
And then he will come back up. He will come back.
Right. Next fell. And then he made a comeback. Again, what did he do with that frustration and that disappointment? Not wallow in it, but instead find a way to creatively move forward.
Jim Carrey is homeless.
Right, Jim Carrey, homeless.
Oh, Tony Robbins used to do bathtub.
Tony Robbins what?
Get to see in the bathtub.
What about his bathtub?
You
Used to have to do dishes in his bathtub?
Yeah.
See, and my personal favorite would be Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He lost his job. He had some failed businesses. He had a nervous breakdown, and he lost 8 elections. Right. You know the story of Michael Jordan, cut from his high school basketball team. And we cite these people not just so you can have so you can be able to win at Jeopardy or something like that. No. This is so you can have an idea of what it is you do with disappointment. I mean, just imagine being in high school, being cut from your basketball team. It doesn't feel good. And rather than just wallow in that, Michael Jordan got to work. Right. So in baseball, if you can hit the ball 30% of the time, you're in a success. That means you don't hit it 70% of the time. If you think about it in terms of school and grades, 30% is, well, how could we put that nicely? We're not going to say it. You're not going to go anywhere. Yeah, not good. So the whole idea is when those emotions kick in, do you let them take over and cause you to do nothing? Or do you use that to propel you to do more?
It's very frustrating to see everyone being able to do things that I can't do.
Right, Sourena said, look, it is so frustrating to see everybody around me being able to do the things I can't do.
Even though I can't give a money every day, there's what I can't do. I can't do.
Right, even though Sourena tries to deal with his disability every day, there are things that he can't do.
And the point I'm frustrated.
Right, it's disappointing and it's frustrating.
I can't speak every other week. I can't speak every other week.
You can't speak
every other week.
Every other week?
Like some speakers I know.
Right, there's some speakers out there who can speak all the time. They're on the road 200 days a year. So Sourena can't do that.
Do I want to do that? I don't know, but I want the option to do that.
Yeah, you'd love to have the option, but honestly, it's not there. And
I'm just offering to in the airport, and then I would love to work on a laptop.
Right, so I would love to go to work on a laptop while sitting on the plane.
Or in the airport. Or in the airport. Or in the hotel.
Or maybe even the lobby of the hotel. But honestly, the chances of that happening they're not real great, right, Sourena?
Yeah, it's frustrating and it's more. What can I do?
Instead of sitting in that place of frustration and in that place of disappointment, Sourena's solution is to say, hey, it's not what I can't do, but it's what I can do. So what can I do? And so when you're in your place, sitting there, maybe that's a lesson to you. Instead of wallowing and thinking about what you can't do, think about what you can do. What can I do to change this circumstance? What can I do to meet my goal? Okay.
I can't repeat me all the time.
So since I can't be on the road all the time,
I stay hard to other platform.
He's starting to creatively find a way to still be able to reach his goal of empowering others and inspiring others and motivating others through a different platform. So rather than feeling like you have to travel.
One thing that made me I have a interview from us.
Right, so the idea is, how can he get his message out? How can he serve others without having to get on a plane constantly? Well, the platform might, he's just creatively looking for a platform. And that's the idea. When you have frustration and when you have disappointment, you don't sit and think about the negative. Instead, you get up and you creatively find a solution to figure out, what is it that I can do? I still have my goal. What can I do to make that goal happen? How do I reach that goal? And it's going to, a lot of times you're going to have to be creative. It's going to have to make you think outside the box. Maybe even move out of your comfort zone. Face some fears. But when you start working on it, the excitement will come back in and you'll be ready to go. Right, so for a while, Sorena's been studying some other people and what they've done.
Yeah. I can come whatever I want from this home office. Will be about house.
Right, and he's learned that, the goals that I want, I can achieve them without having to use the model that so many use. And let that also be another lesson, in that, hey, look, you're in this place. You don't know where you're going to go. You're frustrated, you're disappointed, and you're seeking solutions. Well, you don't have to have every solution yourself. You can go and research and learn about other people and see what they're doing, and take that model and use it as a launching pad. Use it as a model for what you might be able to achieve to help you creatively solve your issue. Right, and of course, in all of this, you must be flexible.
I can't tell you is the first
Right. He sort of said, look, he could tell himself, I'm only going to be happy if I speak 1 or 200 days a year.
That would lead to disaster.
And that would lead to disaster. I mean, you're just setting yourself up for disappointment.
Yeah. She could not run.
Yeah, it's like somebody limiting their dating options to just one specific type. Is that what you said, Sourena?
Yeah. You know, plan everything.
Yeah, you
make sure money, but not already fine.
Right. You have to be flexible. Otherwise, you're going to set yourself up for even more disappointment. And you're going to close yourself off to other opportunities.
That's how avoiding
All right.
the emotions.
So the last thing we're going to talk about is avoidance.
Yes. You gotta feel the emotions, but not the outcomes.
Right. So the thing is, you know the emotions are going to be there. That's just all there is to it. It's life. You're going to be excited at some point. You're going to have fear, frustration, and disappointment. That's just how it is. That's reality. You can't avoid it. You have to know it's there. You have to deal with it. You have to face it. Avoidance, what does it do, Sourena?
Manifestation into other things.
Avoidance will manifest itself
Into other things.
into other areas.
Yes.
Into other areas.
Okay, for now, we live in
Right. For example, we're in the LA area.
so, and we have to deal with traffic in the cars.
That's right. Traffic for us, hey, it's there.
Yeah.
The same way the sky is there, so is traffic.
Yeah. So, it's kind of working anybody for the parking.
Yeah, it's one of those things that is just part of our lives. Is it frustrating? Nobody likes a 405. It is backed up from.
It's just way more you have to and you share time.
Yeah, you live, you know, what?
You can do so and you still have it.
Yeah, you can leave an hour early and you're still a half hour late. You know, I think sums it up best to describe LA traffic. The 405, which if you're not in the area, you might not be familiar, but it's one of our major freeways. The 405, somebody explained to me once, it is backed up from Mexico to Canada. There you go. Sums it up. Just backed up. Always.
But the point is, there's people that get in the car and they're angry.
Yes.
Come here.
Right. So we're using a traffic example, and I think you've gotten the picture of what it's like here. Now, you would think, knowing this, that when you got in your car, you would just get in, you'd sit back, find yourself something to listen to on the radio, and get ready to enjoy the ride. That's not always the case. You have people who get in the car and act like as if today is going to be different than the other 364 days in the year. They're going to get on the freeway and just go. And it doesn't happen, and they get angry. And they come home, they're angry at the children, they're angry at the wife, they all but kick the dog.
Yeah, no, everything
Right. And they're frustrated. What it boils down to is they're frustrated. You've got to deal with that.
You don't let frustration turn into something else.
Right, but you don't let the frustration turn into something else. This person got frustrated on the freeway. They didn't deal with the emotion, and now the frustration has turned into anger.
This is a challenging thing to study. It's not easy. Challenging.
Right, it's not easy. I mean, really, to sit there and admit to yourself what you're feeling, to have to be that honest and transparent with yourself, that's not easy. It's not. And it might be a little scary and it might hurt, but it must be done. Because if you try to avoid your emotions, something else will happen. And usually that something else isn't so wonderful. Hi, Chris. How are you? Thanks for joining.
But it's not something, but it's important to say it's important not to deny that emotion.
Right. It's not easy. Someone said, look, yeah, you're right. It's not easy. It's so not easy to deal with these emotions, but it must be done. It just has to be done.
Yeah, and you don't get in the car and go, wow, traffic, it's a cool, it's a cool. You know what? You might hot, traffic. You might get traffic.
Right. So Sourena just said, hey, look, you don't want to get in the car and go, oh, traffic, that's not cool. You want to be able to get in the car and do what?
You want to get in the car and traffic. How
what is it?
How
Cool is this?
you don't want to do that.
Okay, so I explained it wrong. Let me try to translate again. So what Sourena said was, look, you don't want to get in the car and go, traffic, how cool is that? Because that's not really being true about the experience. Because it's a very rare person who gets in the car with a smile about traffic.
You
Right, you want to acknowledge the experience and acknowledge the emotion, which is traffic. It stinks, but I'm not going to let it ruin my day. And we have that example so many times in life. There are so many things that we go through that we don't necessarily want to go through, and it does stink, but we have to realize where we are and not avoid the emotion. Because once again, as we said, avoidance always manifests, the emotion will always manifest itself. Right, Sourena said, look, there's not a day that goes by when he doesn't say to himself, man, it sucks to be handicapped. And the thing is, it really does suck to be handicapped.
Okay, I don't want to do that.
It's okay, but
I don't want to do that.
He doesn't want to deny the emotion. In the same way you shouldn't. When you're dealing with things, when you're dealing with your disappointment or frustration, you can't deny that it's there. It's there. And you can't avoid it, and you have to move on and deal with it so that you can accomplish your goal.
I wake up and go to church. I go to school
Right, so Sourena said, look, I wake up, I say this stinks, and then I go on with my day. And that's kind of where you are. This stink are where you how to deal with the emotions, not avoid them, acknowledge that they're there, and then figure out how you're going to deal with them and still live your day. All right, Sourena, so have we met the goals for today? All right, so hopefully everybody got the goals for today. You know, we want to acknowledge the fact that we have emotions. We have to know how to deal with our fear. We have to know that excitement is all weaved throughout the process. There's frustration, there's disappointment, and we can creatively deal with those things so that we can still reach our goals.
Yeah, I want to see a couple of things.
Okay, and there's a few more things Sourena has to say.
I'm to get clear about yours.
Sourena said, look, get excited about your goals.
No, I don't. No, I didn't.
Know how to manage your emotions.
No, we
and go be amazing.
We define the comments.
Yeah, so the link to the blog is in the comments. So if you want to learn more, just go to that link.
Bigdreams101.com.
Also, visit bigdreams101.com.
Go be amazing. Go get care, but take action.
Yeah, get excited about taking action. Go to bigdreams101.com. Be amazing, and we'll see you next week. Thank you so much, and you just have a wonderful, wonderful week.